During the first half of the 14th century, the Iberian Peninsula was a battlefield between Christians and Muslims fighting for control of the territory. The Christians, led by Castile, had pushed the Muslims south. But the arrival of the Marinids, a powerful Berber dynasty from North Africa, changed the balance of power. I am with Latin American history, and welcome to the story of the Battle of Río Salado. Sultan Abu al-Hasan, a shrewd and ambitious leader, had consolidated his rule in Morocco and sought to expand his influence into Al-Andalus, where the Kingdom of Granada, under constant pressure from the Christians, was desperately seeking a strong ally. In the year 1333, Abu al-Hasan captured Gibraltar, a vital strategic fortress that posed a direct threat to Christian control. Control of the Strait of Gibraltar allowed Muslim forces to rapidly move troops and resources between North Africa and Al-Andalus, threatening the security of Castile and the other Christian kingdoms. For Alfonso the 11th of Castile, a young monarch but one with a determined character and experience in war, the situation was alarming. The capture of Gibraltar and the campaign of 1339, when Abu al-Hasan crossed the strait with a large army, was seen as an existential threat. This army included infantry and light cavalry, skilled archers, and even war elephants, an exotic and terrifying sight for the Christian forces. The situation worsened when Yusuf I of Granada, realizing the weakness of his kingdom, allied with the Marinids, allowing Abu al-Hasan to strengthen his position and launch a series of campaigns against Christian fortresses. The siege of Tarifa in the year 1340 by the combined forces of Abu al-Hasan and Yusuf represented a critical danger. Tarifa was a strategic enclave on the southern coast of the peninsula, and its fall would open the door to a large-scale Muslim invasion. Facing this threat, Alfonso XI acted quickly and decisively. He understood that the only way to stop the invasion was to unite forces with other Christian kingdoms. Despite previous tensions with the Kingdom of Portugal, Alfonso XI formed an alliance with Alfonso IV of Portugal, a brave monarch ready to defend the Christian cause. This diplomatic move was essential in assembling an army large enough to confront the formidable Muslim force. The assembled Christian army consisted of approximately 30,000 soldiers, around 20,000 infantry and 10,000 cavalry. Although they were fewer in number compared to the Muslim army, which outnumbered them nearly 2 to 1, these men represented the best Christian forces of the time. The alliance between Castile and Portugal not only provided more troops, but also created a united front against the Muslim threat, a decisive factor in the success of the campaign. In the weeks before the battle, both armies positioned themselves near the Salado River, close to Tarifa. The Christian forces, led by Alfonso XI and Alfonso IV, knew the terrain well. The river, with its curves and marshy areas, presented challenges but also tactical opportunities. Alfonso XI, with his military experience, carefully planned the deployment of his troops, using the terrain to his advantage to maximize the effectiveness of his forces. He knew that uneven ground and natural obstacles could limit the numerical advantage of the Muslim army. Sultan Abu al-Hasan, on the other hand, relied on his numerical superiority and the high morale of his troops, especially after their previous successes in the region. However, he underestimated the determination and tactical skill of Alfonso XI, as well as the ability of the Christians to unite in times of crisis. The battle began at dawn on October 30, 1340, when the Christian forces launched a calculated offensive against the Muslim lines. The Portuguese cavalry, positioned in the vanguard, was the first to attack. They charged boldly against the right flank of the Muslim army. The initial assault, despite its bravery, was met with fierce resistance from the Marinid troops, well trained and prepared for prolonged combat. Nevertheless, the persistence of the Portuguese, together with the determination of the Castilians, gradually began to tip the balance. Meanwhile, in the center of the battlefield, King Alfonso led the Castilian infantry in a series of coordinated attacks aimed first at the forces of Yusuf and the Marinid contingents. The fighting in the center was especially brutal. Both sides suffered heavy casualties. Muslim archers, strategically positioned on the hills, rained arrows down upon the Christian troops, causing chaos. But the determination of the Christians, combined with their tactical superiority and the inspiring leadership of Alfonso, allowed them to withstand the assault and hold their ground. The discipline and courage of the Christian soldiers were severely tested, but their faith in victory did not falter. The decisive moment of the battle came when Alfonso XI ordered a massive attack by his heavy cavalry against the center of the Muslim army. This maneuver proved decisive. The Christian cavalry, armed with lances and long swords, broke through the Muslim lines, creating chaos and disorganization. The war elephants brought by the Marinids as a symbol of strength became uncontrollable amid the confusion. Instead of terrifying the Christians, they contributed to even greater confusion among the Muslim forces. The sight of these enormous beasts causing chaos within their own ranks further weakened Muslim morale. Taking advantage of the confusion, the Portuguese forces of Alfonso IV attacked the right flank of the Muslim army again with renewed fury. The Muslim troops, tactically and strategically outmatched, began to collapse, leaving the battlefield in Christian hands. Their retreat quickly turned into a panicked flight toward the Salado River in a desperate attempt to escape the Christian advance. But the terrain and the constant pressure from the Christian forces made the retreat extremely difficult. Thousands of Muslim soldiers died trying to cross the river, while many others were captured or killed on the battlefield. The Salado River, which had once been merely a natural barrier, became a deadly trap for the retreating army. The losses of the Muslim army were catastrophic. It is estimated that more than 20,000 Muslim soldiers died during the battle and retreat, while the Christian forces lost around 5,000 men. The Christian victory was complete, and the Marinid army was virtually destroyed. Abu al-Hasan, realizing that he had suffered a crushing defeat, barely managed to escape. His ambition to dominate the Iberian Peninsula was finally shattered. The dream of a new Muslim conquest of the peninsula vanished on the bloody battlefield of Salado. The victory at the Battle of Salado had immediate and lasting consequences. For the Christians, it secured control of the Strait of Gibraltar, a key strategic objective that cut the supply and reinforcement lines between North Africa and Andalusia. This control allowed the Christians to continue the Reconquista with a significant strategic advantage. The defeat of the Muslims meant the collapse of the Marinid ambitions on the Iberian Peninsula, leaving Al-Andalus increasingly vulnerable to the Christian advance. The victory at Salado strengthened the authority of Alfonso XI in Castile and increased his prestige throughout Europe. He was seen as a defender of the Christian world. His success on the battlefield inspired other Christian leaders to join the struggle against the Muslims. The alliance with Portugal was also strengthened, laying the foundations for future cooperation between the two kingdoms. The Christian unity demonstrated in this battle became an example for future generations. For the Kingdom of Granada, the defeat at Salado was a devastating blow. Although it continued to exist for more than a century, its ability to launch large-scale offensives against the Christians was greatly reduced. Yusuf I was forced to take a defensive position, focusing on preserving what remained of his kingdom while the Christian forces slowly advanced south. The defeat of Abu al-Hasan marked the end of the Marinid ambitions on the Iberian Peninsula. He returned to Morocco with the remnants of his army, and his influence in Al-Andalus sharply declined. Although the Marinids remained a significant force in North Africa, their ability to intervene on the peninsula was seriously limited. The legacy of the Battle of Salado remained a symbol of the strength of Christian unity and the determination of the kingdoms of the peninsula. This confrontation, which took place in the year 1340, marked a turning point in the Reconquista. It revived the crusading spirit and showed that cooperation between the Christian kingdoms was the key to victory. The psychological impact of the battle was also enormous. The victory raised Christian morale, as it was perceived as a sign of divine favor and confirmation of the righteousness of their cause. This sense of the inevitable recovery of the peninsula was passed down to future generations, who continued the struggle until the final fall of Granada. Did you enjoy the video about the year 1492? Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment with your opinion. And if you have suggestions for new videos, write them in the comments so we can explore them.